So at around age 10, 11, 12, there are significant changes happening for the young person, some which are more obvious than others. So we have puberty, obviously which is out of their control. There's changes within school, there's changes within relationships, changes within families, responsibilities. It's a massive time of transition. So what we understand, and if you can imagine, is that through childhood, from what predominantly was a reasonably solid base, the young person moves through life with reasonably concrete styles or views of the world. And then what happens is there's all of these changes that happen. And not only that, but because there's changes in the brain, particular events that occurred previously, a young person can begin to ask some questions subconsciously, which is, did mum and dad separate because of me? Was that my fault that I got bullied? And all of these changes can mean that all of a sudden, as adolescent comes along, what was a reasonably stable basis becomes quite wobbly. And I'm going to demonstrate this as if I'm stepping on a tightrope. So all of a sudden what happens, and remembering that the young person has difficulty actually making sense of what they're feeling, is it starts to get a bit wobbly, whoop, like this. And you imagine that for the young person, they're starting to feel that you know, there's a fair drop down there, and this is starting to feel pretty kind of scary. So when we ask the young person one of kind of what it's like on this kind of tightrope, they start to say, yeah, it's pretty kind of scary, you know, start to worry about things a lot more. And that's where we see anxiety disorders coming from. The other is that after a while it kind of becomes exhausting. You kind of feel like this is too hard. So we have impressions which somebody from the outside may ask the young person, which is, how are you going? And some might say, no, I'm doing fine. Everything's good. No, everything's okay. Thank you very much. Pleasing the world, trying to keep things in. Another person may actually go as a kind of doing this, which is, why do you keep asking me all the time? Just leave me alone. Keep out of my room. Can't you understand just kind of how hard things are? But all of these are manifestations of this particular struggle in here. So, in order to kind of help this young person balancing on this tightrope of adolescence, we ask, what might we put in place? Some people or parents will say, we'll build a bridge. Others say, how do we make it more steady? And they're all really good suggestions. The other is putting a safety net in place. Now, putting a safety net in place has a couple of important factors. One, if we had this tightrope and we had a strong safety net in place, or if I asked any of you in the audience to walk along a tightrope 6 inches off the floor, your mind, your brain, your perception will allow you to do that, to give it a try. If I ask you to do that same action across two of Sydney's tallest buildings, then our fear kicks in, our paralysis, all of those things that are happening for the young person. So we know that, if there's a safety net in place, that there's a less distance to fall, that we're more likely to take steps towards our goals and where we want to be. So this is about building that safety net so that the young person has the courage in order to take those steps forward. What makes up that safety net is our social groups, friends, confidence around school, having fun, and probably our greatest resource is families, parents, caregivers within the young person's life. This is about building that safety